promoting businesses and organizations to help them reach their full potential. Lighten the path to the success of your business. Enhancing the lives of our listeners by talking about things that matters most. Helping you to shine your light emotionally, mentally, spiritually, socially, and physically. Spreading positive vibes. You've got it locked and you're listening to Lyte Vibrations, brought to you by Lyte Communications right here on CBN Radio 90.9 FM. And now your host and our director, Natasha Letza.
Hello, you've got it locked and you're listening to Tasha T here, bringing to you another episode of Lyte Vibrations. Lyte Vibrations is being sponsored by the Pan American Health Organization, the Ministry of Health and Social Development, and the BVI Health Services Authority. As we continue our information series about the mental health and psychosocial support project, we have with us today Miss Kimberly Fraser. Mrs. Kimberly Fraser here to talk to us a bit about the building blocks of mental health. Welcome to the program, Mrs. Fraser.
Thank you for having me.
The pleasure is mine. Now, as you know, Kimberly, we're here having a series of interviews, basically supporting resilience, and building capacity here in the BVI. We're trying to encourage mental wellness, and a very important part of that is, having sound mental health. So we had a few other persons on the show, but we really want to get into the crux of the matter to figure out now, is there a science behind of building good mental health? So we have you here to shed some light for us. So my first question to you is, okay, if perfect mental health could be created, what would those elements look like? We'll call them the building blocks.
Okay, so to create perfect mental health, the building blocks would be being able to have a well balance in your health, general overall health, your spiritual health, and also providing like purpose driven, your purpose, having a balance in your purpose for life and your connections and interactions with other people on a daily basis. So for me, those would be the things that we have to try and get balanced to be able to have a good mental health.
No, those sound simple enough. You're talking about your spirituality, you're talking about your purpose, you're talking about your physical health, connections with people.
Yeah.
All of that is within the gamut of a social society. So if those are the elements now, what is the challenge that we're facing now with this mental imbalances?
Definitely. The skills needed to create that balance to develop the good mental health. So each person don't necessarily have the same coping skills to deal with different situations that life has. We might have the challenges here, some of our strengths and our weakness. So being able to acknowledge what those are and find that balance to be able to achieve that mental wellness.
Okay, so let's start with spirituality. What is it about spirituality that enables us or one to be in a good place mentally? Why is spirituality so important?
Spirituality, well, those people who are spiritual, they believe and trust in a higher powers, believe in God and knowing that God is always there for them and will never leave them and sustain them. So that gives them hope and purpose to continue in life. And to have a good mental health, we need that type of purpose and hope to hold on to keep us balanced. So believing that no matter what the situation is, that there is a God that will see you through that situation no matter what. Mm-hmm. And having that purpose and drive that there will be good days ahead no matter what we're dealing with, that helps as well.
So is hope and spirituality synonymous? Is it that the same thing? I mean, could you have a hope without being connected to a higher power?
Some people can have hope and not believe in God. That is possible. But those people, I guess, who believe in God, I guess, know that their hope and stuff comes from Him and trusted in Him through Him.
So for those persons probably, who believes in a higher power, or, have that abundance of hope, but kind of lacking in their spiritual walk, how could you build that?
Building that would be spending more one-on-one time with God and just reflecting and trying to find your purpose through God. So whether it's going to a church, reading your Bible, just praying, just spending that one-on-one time with God, then through that way, then your spirituality increases.
Mm-hmm. Now you mentioned purpose. Purpose is a very serious thing. It's a very powerful thing, but it's a thing most often times that people fail to know. Mm-hmm. It's like in life, all you're doing is searching for your purpose, right? So talk to us a bit about this purpose. Why is it so elusive? Why we always searching and we never know what it is?
So we're searching for a purpose because we want to have a meaningful impact in life. We're placed on this earth here for a reason, and we want to know what that reason is, how we can be beneficial to assisting others. So some people, it might be easier to find, and for some people, they're still constantly looking for it. But once again, it still requires you to spend some reflecting time with yourself, find out what you enjoy doing, what makes you happy, and if you're spiritual, spending that one-on-one time with God. So through those different avenues, you might be able to find your purpose. Some people might think that I like this is what I'm good at, but then eventually that might change. So it's a continuous thing, and those people who do find their purpose, then that brings them great joy and able to effectively help others in whatever way that purpose leads them to.
Mm-hmm. And for persons who may not know their purpose or who may not have ambition, do you think that makes them more vulnerable to mental health issues? How?
So when people have no purpose, they are more vulnerable to mental health issues, because it can lead them down a path of possible depression, where they find that they have no purpose in life, they can't make no meaningful contribution towards life, and as I said, depression, and then that can then in turn lead to other mental illness.
So for persons who are in a depressive state or in a bad situation where they feel trapped, how do they find purpose? What tips would you give them to empower themselves to find that purpose, to get themselves out of that rut?
Well, for persons like that, I think that it's best to, if they find themselves in that depressive state and unable to find that purpose, sometimes it's best to talk to other people, maybe friends or family around them, and see if they can help them, assist them to pull themselves out of the depressive state and work along them with finding their purpose. Sometimes we might need different people to help us see different things differently, to help us find our purpose. So they can talk to family and friends, and if that doesn't work, then they can probably seek professional help with a professional counselor that will be able to provide them with some assistance.
Mm-hmm. In another program, we spoke about stress being the source of dis-ease or disease, right? Mm-hmm. So what role do you think that your health plays in this whole mental wellness equation?
Definitely your physical health plays a major role in the whole mental health equation. If you're battling with different medical or physical illnesses, then it takes away from you also finding the time to pursue life or enjoy life more comfortably and do the things that you're able to do or you want to do, because your physical health can provide limitations to being able to achieve these things, and the stress of not being able to do these things can also lead to other mental illness and lead back to the same depression. So that's why it's important to take care of your physical health, like have regular doctor checkups, whether you have any other conditions, take the needed medication, eat healthy, exercise. So all these things play together.
For persons, no, because like you said, I think that, you know, once you have your health, you have the power to change your life, right? And that is all a part of that mental stability, because your health is basically your wealth.
Definitely.
Your health is your power. So if that is the case, and you know, you feel so empowered because you have good health and you have the ability to make changes and do things in your life to propel you in the direction where you want to go. For persons who may be battling with life-changing illnesses, who have cancer, who probably have renal failure, who have some sort of disease, lupus or some sort of debilitating disease, how is it that they could, or what can they do to look at this situation positive, to try to get some sort of empowerment? Because we all know, so goes your mind, so goes your body. So if your mind is in a situation where you're feeling hopeless or whatever concerning your health, your body will deteriorate. And the more positive you can keep your mind, the more likely chances of healing moving forward. So for persons who are in that situation where their health is really affecting them, what can they do to help positively impact their situation?
That's a good question. For that situation where they have different life-changing illness, for me, it would say that each person and each situation would be different. So the approach wouldn't be any one fit all thing. But knowing, I would suggest to the person to be grateful, or find things to be grateful for that they still have, or they're still able to do despite of the limitations of whatever illness that they have at one time. So things that persons with good health might take for granted, those are simple things that they can learn to appreciate. I'm able to see, I'm able to spend time with my loved ones and do different things. And I think over time that will help create the positive mindset. And I think also that having a social support network for those persons, because sometimes we might have good days and then sometimes those days will just go away. So having that social support network and people that are there, not necessarily to say anything at some time, but just their presence and being there and knowing that that person is there for me, that also helps the person to think positively about their situation and give them hope. And eventually, we don't necessarily know the mindset of each person at that time, so saying different things kind of might offset them or upset their mood at that time. But eventually, when that person begins to express themselves and say how they're feeling about the whole situation, about their illness, then we might be able to take a more direct point with how to get them thinking positively. So just having them to be grateful for the different things that they have, and social support network, just being there for people, is really important. And a consistent presence of that will eventually help them to think positively over time. But each person is different in a situation, but I think that should
help. But there's a number of people who, when they get ill, you know, they don't talk much about it. They hide it, or
Definitely.
you know, they don't want too many people knowing about their medical situation. And it's for some of the reasons they do it is because they don't want people to pity them, or they don't want people to sad, to make them feel sad. So sometimes, well, you do want a social support, for people who really experiencing that. Do you really think they really look at social support as something like that? Even when something, say for instance, when you have a loved one that died, right? Some people, they don't want you call them, they don't want you bother them, they just they just want to go through it. I mean, so I guess it's for those, we would probably call them introverts and extroverts in that situation as well. What would you say to those introverted people? Because I think what you just described was for extroverts who crave that social that support. But for persons who are like reclusive and they don't really want too much people in their business, and they want to manage it on their own, but it's affecting them and they feel like they don't have nobody to talk to, what would you say to them?
Well, that's what I was just about to say. Different people have different coping skills, and some people might be able to manage it on their own, and be able to deal with the different stages and phases, and it works out effectively. And some people might not have those coping skills and still retreat to themselves. But I still feel that if those around them are probably noticing that they are not coping well, or they see different changes. So even though you lost a loved one, there's a period of where you're allowed to grieve or mourn, which is natural. But if anything goes over that period of time and you notice any major changes, then I think it's for those people around them to reach out, because the person in that situation might not see the need. So I still feel that it goes back to social support, people in a community or family just looking out. Yes, they might not need that support, so you might make that direct contact, like constant calling or visit. You just reach out once in a while, say, do you need anything? They say no. And then I think over time they'll know, okay, this person was reaching out, and if they feel the need, then they'll reach out back to that person. Or if they're not, then you, being a loved one or family or friend, you reach out and say, I think that you might need this, and begin the intervention.
Wonderful. If you're just tuning in, you got it locked in. You're listening to 90.9 FM CBN Radio, Light Vibrations here. And we're here talking about continuing our efforts to promote mental health and mental resilience here in the BVI community. And this is a part of the mental health and psychosocial support project that is being sponsored by the Pan American Health Organization, the BVI Health Services Authority, and the Ministry of Health and Social Development. Today our conversation is about the building blocks for mental health, and we have with us Mrs. Kimberly Fraser. So far we spoke about spirituality, purpose, and health, and we're now going on to some more the softer side of that. Let's talk a bit about kindness. How important is kindness to our mental health?
Kindness, something the world needs a lot of. Kindness, that is very important to our mental health. The act of reaching out to others in time of need, or just showing love, that is beneficial to the person receiving the act and also the person giving, because with kindness it benefits you as well. So you show love to that person or help them in any situation, and you in turn feel blessed with knowing that you were able to assist this person in any way. So the reward that they get, the smile on their face, the happiness, it in turns make you happy and give you more purpose to go out and extend an act of kindness to others around you.
I definitely believe in what you're saying. From a personal perspective, there have been times where I have been on that kindness scale, a lot of times actually, that I'm just a kind person, and when I give to others, I believe that I get more out of it. I get more out of it than the person that's actually being blessed. So it's definitely something great, but to have that kindness, to have that empathy, to try to basically reach persons that may need your help, is definitely a good thing. And we do encourage you, as we build resilience, as we build mental wellness, to not forget being kind. A kind word, a kind gesture, a kind deed.
You never know when that kind act can come back around and we might be in need of it.
It always comes back.
The person that we help can later on help us, and it always encourages the person that we were kind to go out as well and be kind to other people.
Definitely. So we're encouraging that. And one of the things that we need to talk about is doing something that you love. Doing things that you love, especially when you're in an upset vibration, you're in a bad mood or whatever. When you do something that you love, it helps you. It helps to calm you. So it must be key to this mental health, another key element. So speak a bit about that.
So doing things that we love, this brings great joy and purpose for ourselves. And once we have purpose and joy, it helps balance out our mental health and our mental wellness. So it gives us purpose in this life to continue pursuing and continue living life to the fullest. and helping others. So it all ties in. Doing what we love gives us that encouragement to just go out and be kind and go out and do different things. So that is very important, that we try to strive to do things that we really love in this life.
Now give us some tips. We're having a bad day, we're trying to shift a negative vibration into a positive one. Talk to us about some of the things that we can do to achieve that.
Okay, so you're having a bad day. So some of the things that you can do is just keep pushing forward. First of all, if you're having a bad day, or if it starts from home, you just get up and continue on your routine or your schedule. Because sometimes when we're having a bad day, it's easier to just give up and lie down, but more times when you get up and you keep going, you realize that the day gets easier. And also it's best to sometimes pause and reflect on, why am I having this bad day? What's happening? What caused it? Is there anything that, do I need to talk to someone to help me get through it? Is there anything that I can do to change the feeling that I'm having, or whatever is causing that bad day? And we go back to kindness, just showing an act of kindness to anyone that we meet along that way can somehow just turn around our day. So as you say, it's more rewarding for you when you show that act of kindness. So a simple act of kindness just can just turn around our day as well. So it's just reflecting on what it is causing the bad day, showing some act of kindness, and keep pushing forward and doing what we love. So those are some things that can usually change it around. Just stick with your routine. I think that we should also have like daily routines that encourage us or improves our mood each day. So some people might wake up, whatever they do, say their prayers, they exercise, or they listen to motivational tips, or whatever they do. I think like a consistent routine of this can also help improve the bad days that we have. We might wake up with it, but if we consistently do these things, we might realize that, okay, the bad mood, it doesn't last as long as it did the first time, stuff like that.
And I know for me, when I get in my negative vibrations, I like to do things that I like if I have somebody I like to talk to, or I know it bring a smile to my face, I will call them up, or I know within, when you see it's like guinea season, I never have a bad day, because once I eat in guinea, I go. So if I have in a bad mood and I see guinea, even if I see it, I go there again.
Definitely.
So you definitely have to know what does it for you. And music for me too. I put on some music and just change your energy. Just change your energy. You know, and sometimes people would you could draw from somebody's negative energy. So sometimes you have to change your space. So it might be somebody's negative energy that you're being caught up in, and not necessarily your own. So sometimes you just have to change your space. So Kimberly, we're getting down to the end of our interview, and one of the final topics that we want to talk about with regards to the building blocks of mental health, we want to talk about goal setting. Why is goal setting important for our mental health?
Goal setting. So I know that each year everyone likes to this vision board and planning what they're going to do for the new year. So goal setting helps you to sit down and reflect on exactly what you want out of your life, what it is you have, what you want to change, where you want to go. And once again, this motivates you and gives you purpose on where it is that you want your life to go and how it is that you're going to get it. So the whole aspect of mental health is having purpose and have a meaningful life that you can make a difference and help others along the way. So setting goals means that you're here, you want to make a change, you want to make a difference, you want your life to go somewhere. And in order for that to get done, you have to set these goals on where you want your life to go and steps to achieve them.
Goal setting is a bit tricky, Kimberly, because I set goals, and sometimes, if I happen upon goals that I set previous years, right, and I come down the list, and it's usually the same goals. it's usually the same goals over and over. So if you actually keeping track of the goals you're setting, and year after year you setting the same goals, you ain't making no progress. So how it is, year after year, we setting goals, but we still stagnant because I kid you not, for the last 5 years, and I look at my goals, and every January you sit down, you do it, but you have some of the same elements on your list.
So nothing on the list has.
Yeah, I mean certain things, but the majority, the core goals, still repeating like a revolving goal.
Okay. So when setting those goals, it's easy to set goals, but are we putting steps needed in place to achieve these goals? So I want this new house. So what steps am I putting in place, or what things am I doing? Am I planning out to say that I would like this new house? So I think, to me, that's just, I'm being consistent with these things. So sometimes being consistent as well, you might start off and then you slack off. So setting the steps and the steps needed to achieve these goals and being consistent with it. So I think that's where some of us, the downfall is there. So we might achieve the little easier ones, but those bigger ones, we have to make the steps and be consistent and go after those.
And I think that you're absolutely correct. Sometimes we set these lavish goals like they just gonna fall down from the sky.
But it's not be realistic with them and the time frame on which we set it. So if you want to accomplish something this year, what is realistic for achieving this year?
Right.
My house might be realistic for this year, but maybe next 3 years, I know I need to find the land, get the money, the loan, different stuff.
Or even for this year, you know, if your house is your goal, then this year you actively look for a piece of land or try to figure out ways you're gonna finance it. So that's the key right there.
That way you feel like, okay, this year I didn't get the house, but I accomplished something towards that goal.
Yes. And definitely from my experience too, I would just add that you have to keep that motivation. You have to keep that motivation to achieve your goals. Because many times, like you say, you want a house, but you look at your bank account and it got in $20. So you get discouraged because what are you going to do with this $20? This can't even buy you a decent lunch. You understand? So it's like you get discouraged and you like, man, I ain't gonna get this house. But you know, anything you put your mind to achieve, you could do it.
To make that commitment. I only have $20 now, but step. I need to save this amount, so I gotta cut out this for the long time goal.
Definitely, Kim. It was such a pleasure having you on the show today as we continue our talks to build, you know, that mental wellness, mental resilience, all as a part of the Mental Health and Psychosocial Support Project. Once again, it is being sponsored by the Ministry of Health and Social Development, the BVI Health Services Authority, and the Pan American Health Organization. Today our topic was building blocks of mental health, and our guest was Kimberly Fraser. So Ms. Fraser, I give you this opportunity now to make any final thoughts.
Well, I would encourage everyone to take some time and assess their mental well-being as we discuss some of the building blocks needed to achieve a balance or a good mental health. It's time to pause and reflect and see if there's any areas that we might need or you might need any assistance with, whether it's in your health, finding your purpose. Just do an assessment and then see if you can reach out to anyone, friends or family or professional help, just to ensure that you're living your best life and you're healthy, you're at your spiritual point, you have goals and you have purpose for life. And then with all that, then we'll be able to live our good mental health. So just find purpose, find what motivates you, and keep living.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Kim. Once again, you've got a lot and you're listening to Lyte Vibrations here, brought to you by Lyte Communications here on 90.9 FM CBN Radio. I've been your host, Natasha Letzum. Thank you for tuning in and join us next week as we continue our conversation and we continue to, you know, talk about things to promote mental wellness and mental resilience here in the BVI. Once again, thanks for tuning in and blessings.
You've been listening to Lyte Vibrations, brought to you by Lyte Communications. Lyte Communications, your one-stop shop for all of your communications and marketing needs. From conception to completion, we offer the entire communications package. Choose Lyte for reach, results, and reliability. We have over 15 years experience, and we offer an array of services guaranteed to enhance your reach and increase your market presence. To showcase your business or organization on our program, contact Natasha Letzum at natasha@lightcommunications.com or via WhatsApp or telephone at 284-545-7355 to secure your package today. Community-minded individuals with knowledge in finance, health, business, relationships, spirituality, fitness, agriculture, healthy living, parenting, or any other topic that can enhance the lives of our community are also encouraged to contact Ms. Letzum to organize an interview. Thank you for tuning in to Lyte Vibration, and don't forget to tune in this time next week as we continue to bring you life-changing information. Until next time, shine your light.